Tusheti, one of the most picturesque regions of Georgia, is situated in the eastern part of the Caucasus mountain range. For centuries, Tushetians, like the other highland tribes, the Mochevians, the Chefsurians, have occupied territories on the north-facing slopes of this range. In the east, Tusheti borders Dagestan, in the north, Chechnya, in the west, Hevsureti, and in the south, Kakheti. In mountainous regions surrounded by ridges and peaks, Tusheti is furrowed with lots of canyons, through which water flows down to two main rivers, the Pirikita Alizani and the Tusheti Gometsaris Alizani. The road leading to Tusheti from Kakheti starts from Paveli village and goes down to Omalo through Georgia's highest motorcar pass, Abano. Access to Tusheti is only possible with a four-wheel drive vehicle. Owing to its geographical isolation, remoteness from historic centers and events, information about Tusheti and Tushetians in the period preceding the late Middle Ages is very scarce. However, bronze artifacts discovered in Tusheti, dating to the 12th and 11th centuries BC, lead us to suppose that people have inhabited the territory of Tusheti since ancient times. Tushetian sheep, horses, sheepdogs, cheese, carpets, felt, etc. All this forms a cultural and aesthetic fabric rich with an original ethno-psychological organization and a system of social rituals. Historically, two different kinds of settlements were formed in Tusheti: villages and so-called bosali, or household villages. A village, as a rule, is a well-defined settlement complete with architecture. In the villages, there are a lot of fortified installations which provided a dual purpose, residential and protective. Both common agricultural and familiar tower fortresses served as shelters for the population during enemy incursions. Tusheti's architecture is also original. Slate houses with covered balconies differ by their roofs from the fortified houses of Hevsurians, Shavs, and Dagestanians. A Tushetian dwelling is covered with a smooth stone gable roof that immediately attracts any visitor's attention. Uncharacteristic of Tusheti, towers with pyramidal roofs built with mortar are well preserved in the Pirikita Alazani community, from Dartlo to Chontio. These fortresses, like the whole of Tusheti, have witnessed a lot of battles, including ones that took place in the not-so-distant past. The architecture has undergone changes in these settlements where life goes on and on. Cult constructions, representing a mixture of Christian and pagan religious ideas, are an organic part of a Tushetian village. Tusheti's snow-clad peaks, grand mountains, and spacious pastures, unique pine forests, clear streams, and full-flowing rivers constantly attract tourists. The sensation felt from this natural marvel is enriched by the context of the ancient culture and traditions of Tusheti. Old and abandoned villages, and most of which watchtowers dating to the late Middle Ages, are still standing, as so are balconies with dangling carpets and chintz. Tusheti is famous for traditional handicrafts embellished with colored ornamental patterns that are quite popular among visitors coming from both Georgia's regions and abroad. Carpets, hats, socks, and clothing. Tushetian women make these beautiful articles of wool with natural dyes. The traditional customs of Tushetian nomads and their summer religious holidays are also very interesting. With the purpose of preserving Tusheti's ecosystem, protecting its flora and fauna, conserving its unique pine and birch forests, Tusheti Reserve was established in 1980, and, along with Batsari and Baba Nuri reserves, it became a part of Akhmeta Reserve. On April 22, 2003, a new reserve, the Tusheti Protected Area, was established. This territory covers the entire territory of Tusheti, which includes the Tusheti State Nature Reserve, Tusheti National Park, and the Tusheti Protected Landscape. Tusheti's biodiversity has been acknowledged all over the world. The World Wildlife Fund allocated a grant for the protected areas, and administration of these funds was undertaken by the World Bank. Tusheti National Park is one of the largest parks in Europe. Its boundaries coincide with the ones of Tusheti itself and, correspondingly, pass along the border of Georgia with the Russian Federation. The area of Tusheti National Park is 76,004 hectares. Movement within the national park is possible on either foot or horseback, and also by car along specially marked routes. The Tusheti State Nature Reserve includes Pirikita Alazani, Gometsaris Alazani, and Chanchachovani canyons. Forests adjacent to Omalo, Diklo, Shenako, Kumelauri, and Chiso. The forests begin from the confluence of the Gometsaris Alazani and the Pirikati Alazani rivers, and spread along both river banks to the very border with Dagestan. The total area of the State Nature Reserve is 10,881 hectares. The Tusheti protected landscape includes all Tusheti villages. It was especially created so that the traditional look of the Tushetian village as well as the historical, cultural, and natural landscape of this region should be preserved. The total area of Tusheti protected landscape is 31,434 hectares. The Tusheti protected landscape, with its beautiful villages and landscape, is also interesting from a historical point of view. Unique monuments, abandoned villages, articles of popular arts and crafts, agricultural tools, and household utensils have been preserved in Tushetian villages. Tusheti is inhabited by up to 60 species of mammal, 120 species of bird, 3 species of reptile, as well as 1 species of amphibian and fish each. A diverse mammal population is represented by several species of cloven-hoofed animals. Noteworthy among them are gazelle, red deer, roe deer, and wild hog. Brown bear, wolf, lynx, and panther are also found here. These spacious and inaccessible slopes of the Caucasus mountain range are the habitat of the East Caucasian goat. The goat feels perfectly at home on these slopes that appears lifeless at first glance, and spends most of its year at an elevation of 3,000 meters. Herds of male goats hide behind inaccessible boulders and roam higher than any other animal, making them almost impossible to see. Another gem of Tushetian wildlife, the Caucasian black grouse lives a bit lower than the snowcock, in the boundary between the subalpine and the alpine zones, in birch forests and holly thickets. Another cloven-hoofed animal, the gazelle, which has become very rare for our country's fauna, has found its last refuge in the Tusheti protected areas. The Tusheti region abounds with predators, from the small marten to the ferocious brown bear. Here one can meet a fox or a wolf anywhere, including in areas situated at high altitudes. Owing to its covert and cautious lifestyle, the lynx is rarely seen, though their numbers in Tusheti are quite large. A diverse population of birds live in Tusheti: thrushes, woodpeckers, the red-headed brambling, the mountain lark. There are also many birds of prey. Among them are the kite, griffin, yellowhammer, hawk, sparrowhawk, mountain eagle, owl, mountain yellowhammer, horned owl, and the fastest bird on our planet, the falcon. More than 1,000 plants have been described in present-day Tusheti. 230 representatives of the local flora are endemic to the Caucasus, and 11 plant species growing in Tusheti are unique to Georgia. Deciduous forests are almost non-existent here. However, there are many pine forests creating a unique look for the spacious Tushetian landscape. Both ancient pine trees and minuscule saplings grow side by side. The forests begin from the banks of both Alazani rivers, run through the basin of the Tusheti Depression, and grow higher up the mountain slopes to an elevation of 2,000 to 2,200 meters. At this elevation, the pine forests give way to birch forests. In Tusheti, the forest belt ends at an elevation of 2,600 meters. This is the boundary between the alpine and the subalpine zones. Only bilberry and black crowberry bushes are found higher than this altitude. Tusheti's grass cover ceases at an elevation of 3,000 meters, and the last grass thickets give way to rocks, stones, pebbles, and moraines of volcanic origin. Higher are only boulders and snow-clad Tushetian peaks. Mount Dano, Mount Komito, and Mount Diklo are each covered with permanent snow and exceed an elevation of 4,000 meters. Tusheti's flora and fauna are integral to its existence, just as the mountains, towers, canyons, legends, sacred places, and people living here, the brave and industrious Tushetians, are. A lot of interesting sights and unforgettable adventures are in store for you here. The administration offers hiking and horseback riding trails for those visiting Tusheti. The guides here are mainly young local people. The administration has prepared 1 hiking and 3 horseback riding trails. All the trails start from Omolo and are designed so that all of Tusheti's sites can be seen. The trail's duration ranges from 2 to 5 days. Groups consist of 4 to 7 tourists. Hotels for guests have been built in traditional styles and fit perfectly in their surroundings. Family-friendly hotels in Diklo, Dochu, Omalo, Sheneko, Chesho, and many other villages are ready to provide guests with any service. One can also hire horses here. The Tusheti protected area has 2 administrative buildings, one for winter and one for summer, where information centers can be found. It is necessary to observe safety rules during your stay. The following activities are prohibited: the carrying of firearms or any other weapons for hunting animals, collecting plants, rocks or bird materials, catching, chasing, or harming any animals, climbing trees or rocks, entering caves or standing on the edges of precipices, damaging historical monuments, removing debris, conducting unauthorized excavations, and building fires outside of the places especially designated for this purpose. It is also necessary to take into account the traditional rules and customs of the Tushetians. Remember that, according to the local rules, it is prohibited for women to enter chapels and holy places. The best time of year to visit is in the summer. Detailed information on the Tusheti protected area is given on the following website, www.tushetipa.ge.